Hi Rakesh ji,
Hi,
Namaste. Welcome to Stalwarts of Music with Aditya Veera. It is an honor to have you on the show. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you for having me.
Well, having gone through your body of work for several
Hmm.
many years now, uh, for any journalist, it would be a tough task to, to start at a certain point. So I wanted to start our conversation today, in terms of the whole idea behind the orchestral framework, right? So when we consider Indian classical music, it treats time as elastic and negotiated when it comes to an orchestral context where there is
Right,
strict
right.
synchronization and you're supposed to play to a click, right? So what was the psychological and the musical adjustment required for you to perform with this wonderful orchestra? Was it through click or a different framework?
Uh, Basically, working in the film industry for so long,
Yeah.
almost 4 decades, have a little idea about how to go about with the orchestra. Some because in the film industry, sometimes there are 100 people playing for some songs, really
Hmm.
good big production. But for me, thinking about doing a playing in a symphony, because as everybody know, flute is maybe an instrument which has a very less octaves. It's just
Correct.
1.5 octaves. Easily you can get it. So for orchestra, this is difficult task because generally they need a main instrument, a lead instrument having like 4.5 octaves or 5 octaves, like piano, violin, cello, and a woodwind. It can be trumpet or a saxophone. Or something. But leaving this aside, when we were traveling with Zakir Bhai, when we were together in the bus, we were doing the house on wheels, traveling in the bus for a month in the
Lovely.
bunks, sleeping. That was our home basically. So means as we speak, group with Bella Fleck and Edgar Meyer people. So they were constantly on the free times. They were on the laptops doing something. So I said, what should I do?
Hmm.
So I was just recording some pieces my own in my garage band on my iPad, and I was little curious about what harmony and chords will go. So I was discussing with Edgar a lot of time. What should we, oh, this sounds good. Oh wow, this kind of sound a flute can create. I never knew it. So Zakir Bhai said, hey, you guys, what are you doing? I said, Zakir Bhai, I've composed some pieces. I
Hmm.
said, make me listen to it. And so kind of him. So on the bus, I had a small speaker where I used to use my tanpura. I made him listen to. One day it happened, and then third day I made another piece, and the eighth day I made one more piece. And he said, "Wow, this sounds not very Indian.
Hmm. Hmm.
It has a pentatonic, and it also has. It's basically you're not staying in a raga. That's good.
Hmm.
Why don't you write a symphony? Because he wrote two symphonies, two concertos." I said, symphonies, I could be, well, I'm going to do it. No, no, no. I thought in the beginning maybe he's joking, something. I said, and then after the 10th or 12th days, I again made some complicated piece. And he said, Abhi to aap likh hi dalo. Now you should write it. And then he was serious. And if you need any kind of help, I have a people to write it down who are very well known in the Indian ragas also.
Okay.
They are Western people, but they know they have learned Indian style of violin. So they know both sides the West and the Indian music. So they
Correct.
will be help you a very big help. And any kind of help you need, we can record you or we can fix a music studios in LA, orchestra, and with whom I have worked. They are very known about our kind of music,
Hmm.
where in the middle you suddenly you go out. and do your full thing, but you should do it. So that was the beginning point. I thought maybe it will be an, my tribute to him.
Okay.
So this
That's one.
idea came, yeah, that idea came from there. And
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful thought behind this project, and
hmm
of course we had two renowned musicians, the wonderful Bela Fleck and Edgar Mayer,
Edgar Mike, yeah.
right? So when you have instruments with high velocity unison passages,
hmm
considering you have instruments like the banjo or the bass, for instance, do you approach phrasing like a classical bassuri player, or do you consciously adopt the mindset to be the bluegrass fiddler?
Basically, my idea was to, to follow the other side of the Indian classical.
Okay.
But in some places, in some songs, they liked it, and in some songs, they forced me to do, no, I want your style.
Mm,
We are doing what we want to do and what we are doing it from. So
mm,
we added you because we want from your end your slides, notes, and that kind of thing, what we generally don't do. And that will carry a different element, in our songs. So it
mm.
was both. But it was difficult for me to adopt because
Yeah.
there's so many notes to remember it and to write it down. I have to write it down and practice, practice, practice. And because it's got sometimes it's a unison, but with different notes. So it should match also. And again, as mentioned before, because of the lack of the octaves, it was difficult. So I had
Mm.
to jump around with my octaves and try to figure out how this phrase will come out.
But I'm sure the end product that we hear today is a total masterpiece.
Yeah, when I also
Yeah.
listened to it, it sounds
Yeah.
simple, but it was
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
big task at that time to record,
Correct.
and they don't do any overdubbing. It was
Oh, okay.
everything was live recording, and they
Okay.
do like 5, 6 goes, and whichever comes best, they keep it.
Nice. Talking about you being an ambassador for this particular instrument,
hmm
having carried this tradition forward for so many years now, do you foresee a time where musical conservatories in the world teach basuri alongside the flute and the oboe, not just in the world music context, but as a legitimate orchestral instrument?
My guru, Aditya Chaurasia, was conducting in Netherlands
Right.
for a long 10 years, and
Hmm.
uh, people used to come, not only the flute player, but also the guitar player and the cello player. They wanted to adopt because somehow they liked the style of his playing or
Hmm.
the thought process. So it was there. Yeah, sure.
Okay, and what about the next set of people who are going to carry it forward? Do you foresee certain set of people who are going to take this tradition forward
Yeah,
today?
we have a lot of students in our Gurukul, and
Okay,
they are doing very well.
okay,
At least this generation is lucky, because I'm not saying that I'm very old, but they have the availability of everything online. You can listen to it, whatever style of music, whatever kind of music you want to
hmm.
listen, and then take a call which genre of music you like it, and then
Okay.
take it, and if you can replicate on your own instruments.
Hmm. Uh, Now, I'd like to touch upon the musical discography of yours, which is quite
Mhm,
vast, right? So, if I had to examine or assess the breadth of work,
mhm.
it moves fluidly between classical music, meditative albums, and experimental fusion music, for instance, right? So, do you think of your recordings as documentations or deliberate milestones marking different phases of your artistic evolution? How do you look at it?
Uh, uh, Frankly speaking, I never thought about it.
Mm,
I was just going with the flow, whatever was coming in my way. And one thing was good because of my guru, Babaji, I call him Babaji, Aditya Chaurasia, quite open-minded about taking challenges and doing stuff which going out of your comfort level.
Mm.
And at least have a one trial that what how it sounds, how whether I'm liking it or not. So while doing this process, uh, I kept on doing, and I kept on, oh, this is fine, I can do it, it's possible, why not, you can try, give it a try. So that was the process, and going with the flow, and then coming out of the classical scenario, went to studios,
Okay.
working with all the music director, legendary. Lot of it was a learning process and still learning journey. Then suddenly met Mr. Louis Banks,
Yeah.
the jazz king of jazz in India. Started playing fusion. He invited me to play, and this is the head, and this is two lines, and then you can fly over and then come back. So
Mm.
in that, I came to learn about the fusion. How the fusion, it should be this way.
Mm.
It is a structure. It's the chords. When you're doing a solo, also it's on a structure. So it was a learning process, and then doing with Sufi, and then suddenly coming to the companies coming to me, have you done Reiki? Have you done meditation? We
Mm.
want to do an album with you. I never did Reiki and never meditation. I'm opening this and disclosing this thing, but
Oh, okay.
somehow listening to my music, they thought that okay, we can do it now.
Mm.
Then I came with many albums, and I never said no. I'll
Mm.
try, and I did it, and it's working. So it was just a flow and a journey, I can say, in one word.
Right, right. Another interesting facet I wanted to understand from you is about some of the wonderful flute makers or the bansuri makers in India,
Mhm.
right? So, how consciously do you think about whole geometry and surface area while working with some incredible makers like Subhash Thakur, for instance?
Uh, well, I have one of two flute from Subhash Thakur, but generally I play the flute from Harshvardhan.
Okay.
But technically, I don't know so much. I can re fine tune it according
Hmm.
to myself when I get it.
Hmm.
But generally, their flutes are into because himself is a flute player and also a student of Hariji.
Right.
So very precise flute, they get it. Uh, and then the first thing in the bamboo flute is the sound. What
Hmm.
I try to see, the sound should be on the first blow, how I feel the vibration, because you'll never get a second same flute because
Okay.
it's a natural thing from the bamboo tree. But
Correct.
none of the bamboos are same. The diameter is not same. The length is different. The
Hmm.
shape is different, and from different. And we also get bamboo from Assam mostly, but
Okay.
also from the Pilibhit, from the UP, and the Pilibhit is now considered. They have changed the name to be from Pilibhit to Bansuri city.
Oh, wow.
So technically, they have worked. They all the basketball players, I think, especially Harshvardhanji, Subhash Thakur, they have really
Hmm.
worked hard and exactly where the hole should be
Right.
according to the pitch.
Hmm.
And then I also see how, the second thing is how the bamboo is looking. Is it white? Is it has a lot of design or what? It should look also good. And then all that the tread is also a designing purpose, but also for the safety because it's hold
Hmm.
the bamboo intact. In case of change of weather,
Right.
sometime the bamboo get cracked. So there's no age. It can crack in 2 days and it can stay for 20 years also. And
Right.
especially when we play constantly in the concert, a lot of moisture gets developed inside. So from that reason also, and it's a lot of lights on the stage coming straight away from the airport, from the plane, and like 18-degree to straight away 30
Hmm.
degree, and it get cracks, change of weather, drastic change of weather.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens on the stage also. So we have to take a break and tape it all and then come in. Now we're having a couple of extra bansuri, but at that time we used to just have one or maximum
Hmm.
two.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm sure it must have been quite difficult because of the unpredictable nature of,
Mm, yeah.
the
And I
bamboo.
truly
Yeah.
I can say this
Yeah.
is an organic instrument,
Hmm. Hmm.
nothing from the factory
Hmm.
because it's from the Krishna time. So I think he was so clever to pick up this instrument.
Correct.
So nothing from the factory. Now we have started using a cork one side,
Mm.
But originally they used to cut the bamboo from the knot, so
Mm.
that was the natural closing from one side of the bamboo.
Nice. If I had to talk about performance in general,
Hmm.
you have played in a lot of high energy musical contexts that demands a different kind of stamina,
Hmm.
from your standpoint. Uh, how do you kind of prepare for such contexts in terms of
Uh,
your
this
style? Yeah.
this is a common question. Lot of people ask, "Hey, do you do
Mm.
specially some pranayam or
Right.
something?" Or generally, I've never thought about it because I
Mm.
think the practice itself, hours of hours practice, makes your lungs bigger and stronger.
Okay.
And but yes, I love sports because
Oh, nice.
our grandfather was a wrestler.
Right.
So genetically, there is a, a loving for any kind of sports. I used to do a little bit running, jogging, going to the gym whenever it's possible. I love swimming.
Mm.
So maybe that has helped for extra mileage,
Okay.
maybe. But I think there's a sound like I have heard from the previous musician when Babuji came, Hariji came for the in the industry for the first time, and when
Hmm.
people heard him behind the mic, they said, "Wow, who's this? Who's this guy?" I mean, this kind of sound in flute. So basically, he had that tonality and that tone in him,
Mm.
and that heavy breath, heavy low sound in him. So it's the bottom sound. And one thing is that it's difficult to change the sound on flute. It's like vocal cord.
Mm.
Lata ji has the sound, it is there. Kishore, when she used to talk like, Namaskar, kaise hain? And on the mic, it was like, a big, somebody really big singing on this, the whole sound. So I think this is also, I think that is gifted.
Mm.
And with the practice, it becomes better, but it cannot be drastic, very big. This is
Right.
something naturally it has come to you.
Nice. In terms of a lot of these, contexts that you've played in, all the way from
Mhm.
classical music to, electronic, jazz rock, and orchestral contexts, what is that one principle of playing you refuse to compromise under any circumstance, Rakesh ji?
We sometimes struggle
Mm.
to compete with them. For me, the challenge is always about the volume. It's about the sound because definitely the electronic is always overpowering. Uh, so to compete with it when I have to really blow it really hard or something, then I used to lose the tonality
Mm.
or lose the pitch. So it was sometime compromising that I shouldn't be pushing myself.
Mm.
Let me play the way I am. Let me enjoy whether it's reaching out or there or not. Because when I heard the recording, it was really sounding harsh for me, and this is not the character of a bamboo flute.
Okay.
So then I started slowly avoiding it.
Mm.
In fact, with a lot of my colleagues also now, this pickup mic has come. So everything is sounding so big. The tabla players also finding it difficult because to compete with the sound, they have to put a muscle power. And
Mm.
as soon as the muscle power comes into any instrument, the nuances, the tonality really goes, and the character of the instrument is not there.
Mm.
So I feel sometimes bad also to say no and losing that opportunity. But uh, playing for 2 hours, it's also getting difficult. So it's better, as I said, everybody should try once and twice, and if they like it, do the thing. Otherwise, it's better to do the backbench.
Mm. Nice. Really, really appreciate and admire the
And
approach.
now I also want to send this message because
Mm.
the young generation, they don't know what is pickup mic, and because it's attached to a instrument body,
Right.
and it's amplified. The sound is amplified in like a 4 times. I know the people who use it, they play it, and they
Correct.
have done a lot of studies. But the point of view from the audience,
Mm.
they compare it with the sound on that day.
Right.
Now, if a senior musician playing nowadays without a pickup mic, according to the young generation, what they will think, oh, I think he's catching up age. The sound was because he's comparing with some other musician because he's
Mm.
heard of that big sound. So that is happening, and that is not required in a classical music, as you said. If you're doing with the underground music, if you're doing with the pop things, with the rock thing, is fine because there it needs that kind of amplification. But
Right.
for classical, the more silent it be, because of that, now what is happening? People are becoming multitasking
Mm.
because the sound is so much in your ears. They are on the mobile. We can see it from the stage because that white light is throwing on the faces. They're messaging also and saying, wow, wow.
Mm.
So at one time, if people was talking in the audience, I've seen when I used to accompany my guru,
Mm.
they used to say, please, sir, if you want to go, you can go outside and do your things because I won't let me enjoy the music because it was so soft, calm, and everything. I don't know, we have to go with the time, we have to stay with the time. But for classical, I think the normal mic and the normal thing is more than enough where
Okay.
you can present your thought process and whatever.
Mm. Mm. Being in this pursuit for so many decades now, do you feel that you are expanding the instrument's vocabulary, or are you revealing possibilities that were always present but culturally constrained?
No, I'm trying to cross the boundaries and take this instrument more further. That is my thought process and my
Mm.
challenge always. Uh, and especially working with the musician from the West has opened up the mind frame.
Mm.
And I tell my all student also, never restrict yourself. Please go ahead and do all the possibilities possible for your instrument and your thought process. In that way, we open our mind also. Ki, oh, this is also an area, I've never seen it.
Mm.
Let's try it. It's like Google Map taking you and dropping you in the wrong place, and then you figure
Mm.
out what to do from there.
Right on. Uh, Falling back on that very thought that we discussed some time back, talking about Pashto, which was inspired, wherein Zakirji heard the Shehnai and the bagpipes together, and when you play this piece, do you change your embouchure to bring in a Shehnai-like sharpness, or do you intentionally keep the natural softness?
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I have changed a little bit
right.
when I used to do on the stage, but somehow
Mm,
uh, they told me, no, you keep the normal style, but I creating the hard tone, pushing more of a vibrato,
mm,
like a bagpiper.
okay.
But sometimes I do it when I like it.
Mm,
It is nice to change the tone, and it can be a little bit, with you press your flute towards your lips, and you can really have the tangy sound.
mm. Given this instrumental nature of your instrument, right? Uh, Being, in a lot of these live contexts, be it pieces like Motion or Pashto, do you think more like a singer who's shaping phrases by playing your instrument, or more
Yeah,
like an
yeah.
instrumentalist?
No, more like a singing because this piece was instrumental, but
Mm,
the melody is like a song.
mm,
So when you sing inside, it changes the thought process and how to get this phrase in my flute with the slides note or whatever possible. And coming back with the Pashto,
mm.
I remember this was the first song when I was been trying and tested that how it will I fit in as we speak.
Okay.
So we were traveling we were doing the duo concert, me, myself, and Zakir, right? And happened to be that he was meeting Bela Fleck and Edgar Meyer for some other rehearsals.
Mm.
And he said, hey guys, I have one Indian guy with me. Do you want to try? He plays a bamboo flute. I said, bamboo flute? What will bamboo flute will do with us? He said, wait a minute. He came to my hotel. He picked me up, brought to his house where they were sitting. They were already writing things for the new project.
Okay.
And there where Zakir Bhai sang this Pashto song suddenly. And he said, just try to play on your flute. Let them hear it. And I learned the piece there. And he was playing just a small, some percussion instrument. And you'll not believe it started at 10:30
Oh.
and it ended at 7:30 in the evening. They were just trying. Can you believe how serious they are about everything?
Mm. Mm.
Trying that how this instrument sound will go with us. What should the song we write, which should get him into our band? What should do? How we should use it?
Right.
So that time was the Pashto. We played like a couple of hours the Pashto, and they figure out what they can do. Oh well, this is sounding, and they are very pretty clear with their head and everything. It's not that, oh, we are playing less in this song. This is
Mm.
not what we need to learn from these people. Wherever we
Yeah.
require, we have to do it. Keep backbench where it's not needed. How to control the sound, where you want to push it really ahead or take it back. This is not needed. हमारे यहाँ तो we still struggle कि who's going to the first question if two people are playing or three people, who's going to sit in the center of the stage?
Right.
It means that, okay, who's sitting in the center is the main instrument. Well, in the West, you stand in the corner, you do your job, and you'll get the same amount of applause. So this thing also we have learned a lot from them.
Mm.
So
Yeah. They
that
both.
the way, and then they thought that, okay, it's merging.
Mm.
In the 7:38 p.m. when we sat to eat something, they thought, Sakura, I think it's working. I said, wow, these hours it took them to think. But it was a fun, really. I got to learn a lot of things from them. They are so precise and my God.
Nice. I'd like to now talk about some of your releases. Starting with Silent Flute, the 2019 release,
Mhm.
wherein it doesn't comprise, without the tabla or harmonic support. So, how do you decide when a note has completed its meaning and it must be released now in this kind of a framework?
It was quite a big task playing for an hour in the studio,
Right.
one go,
Mm.
without any tanpura or without anything.
Right.
Before this, I have released label called Inner Peace
Mm.
from Sonarupa, my very dear friend, like a elder brother, Heman
Okay.
Matani, who's the owner of this company.
Okay.
He said, a lot of people drive from Leicester to London and up and down every day. They
Mm.
like the instrument flute, but the problem is there, the complaint is there, the surpeti, the tanpura,
Mm.
if it is, I also believe it is little loud, it starts growing on your head.
Right.
And as soon as the tabla comes in, we get the ticket because they do the speeding.
Mm.
So can we have flute instrument with some instrument which is very soothing for us? So I decided the contrast can be santur. I
Mm-hmm.
said rather than having santur, I should use a piano.
Okay.
So I used the piano and we went in the studio. One go, we just did the inner piece. It was so famous that there was a demand for another one there when we came with the eternal piece.
Mm.
So listening to this two album, the silent idea of silent flute came from Switzerland.
Oh.
Erkin, a very dear friend who's a businessman, but he likes the flute. He's very touch with the Indian things. He comes here do yoga, and he's very serious into all this. He said, Rakesh, I have heard a lot of album, but I don't listen to a natural, original, only flute sound. What can be done? I said, wow, I've never thought about it. What to do? Okay, we'll try to do an album,
Mm.
just flute and nothing else. I said, well, you're taking a risk. Well, if nobody listen, I will listen to it because this is my
Yeah.
hunger. This is my need. I want to listen to a pure flute, bamboo flute, nothing else. I said, okay. I was in Delhi. He was in Delhi. After my concert, next day we booked a studio. We went there and we did. And he liked it. And he came up with the second album.
Mm.
So with the people, when their thought process comes to me, a question comes to me, it occurs, ki, what should can be done? So as I said, go with the flow, whatever comes on your way, take it and try and do it and then enjoy it. Somebody's liking it.
Another release which was quite captivating for me was Meeting, right? Wherein the tanpura is replaced by synthesized pads, you know.
Mhm.
So without a traditional drone, what becomes your anchor for raga identity, pitch, phrase, shape, or any of that?
See, a lot of time, maximum time, when I practice on my terrace sitting on an open sky,
Mm.
I do it generally without tanpura. So
Oh.
my one note, the sa, what I play, the pitch, I manage all the note according to that, just to try to see whether I'm okay or not. And sometimes when the constantly tanpura is playing, if you see in my concert, I keep my tanpura in the measure of 10% of the flute.
Mm.
This idea also Zakir Bhai gave me because he said, I see that there's a lot of dynamic in your playing when you're doing the alap. And when the tanpura is there, I don't know what that was his thought process.
Okay.
You are always on the top of any one layer
Mm. Mm.
where you have a potential that you can really go soft. Let's try. We are performing in America, doesn't matter, India. So he told me to do the whole alap section without tanpura.
Mm.
And it was so difficult. And when he said, when you come to Jor, I'll bring it up slowly. And I was thinking whether I'm there or not. And suddenly the tanpura will fade in. And if I lose the pitch, then what will happen? But thank God everything was there. But I got the idea that, you can play around with the sound, with the emotion, what you're thinking.
Mm.
And when something is there, you always try to be on the top of that. So I was never going down below the
Okay.
frequency. So that idea came and I practiced without tanpura. So
Mm.
replacing it with the chords, I'm used to it. If I just get one tone, I'll stay with that tone and try to manage my everything in that. And sometimes it's clean, because that's constantly one thing is playing. Uh, As we say, when we blink our eyes, we get the rest, right? We
Mm.
breathe in and out. So what about the ears? That also needs a gap. The ears will say, hello, give me a break just because I cannot say anything.
Mm.
Constantly something is traveling, and it's going in your brain. What I think, I may be wrong because the classical people will definitely not accept it. Hey, without tanpura, it cannot be a classical music. But I don't want to compress my and make a boundary of classical. It's a vast genre of music. A lot of things can happen.
Correct, correct. I mean, purists will always be for certain
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's the musician who navigates and decides for himself.
It's a pilot.
Yeah. Talking about your students, right? And also want to touch specifically on technique. So many students notice that for certain chromatic notes like Komal Da, you often slide your fingers sideways on the hole instead of lifting it a half holing from
Yeah.
the top. So is this mainly for better tuning on the bansuri, or does this sideways motion help you achieve, smoothness in terms of what we're hearing?
I don't know which student have spoken to you, but what I think, because it's not a factory made, it doesn't has any keys.
Mm,
It's your comfort level. Everybody's fingers is different. The flexibility is different.
mm,
If you have a short fingers, definitely your position will change. If you have a long fingers, you're comfortable, your position is different.
okay.
But the point is to getting the right pitch, and that happens with your ear. We are not watching our fingers when it's lifting or when we're doing the slide half note or whatever.
Mm,
I can show you. If I do Komal down, I'll show you. It can come from up also, from all three sides.
Right.
So it's basically you're comfortable for that 2 or 4 hours you're practicing, and for
Mm,
performance, if you're doing for 1 hour, what you're comfortable. If
mm,
you're trying to adopt which the finger is not ready for it, then it's going to be out of pitch.
okay. Another thing that you've taught your students is the idea of letting go of ego or unlearning things that they might have learned wrong, right, in your Gurukul. So, could you expand on this particular idea?
Sorry, just come again because it was freeze for that time.
Sure, sure, sure. So I want to know this ideology where you've taught students the idea of letting go of their egos or unlearning certain things which might not be necessary, right, in your Gurukul. So could you expand on these ideas?
Definitely, once the ego comes, your playing totally changes. I have seen with a lot of musicians when I am on the audience side,
Mm,
means your chest is out, I'm going what I'm going to do it, but
right.
I have never tried, and if I have tried also, I have fall on my face.
Mm,
Because then your thought process is on the different level, that you're trying to prove yourself. Once you try to prove yourself, now depend on how much you have practiced. If you are doing a written music, is fine, but what we do on stage is a iCloud thing. Only the composition for the North Indian classical, only the composition and the notes are fixed. Rest is all your possibility of your thought process, what you can do.
mm,
We cannot decide and sit, okay, one, ek, do, tihai ho gayi, some dance which your hands are comfortable doing it, that is fine. But rest of the material for that 1.5 hours, you do your practice, your confidence, that only brings it out. And
okay.
I think the more humble, you don't have to be humble. Be what you are from
Mm,
within. That's your nature. If your nature is humble, if you're trying to become uh, stiff, it's fine. Means you're not going to stay for long. Means because your natural, your original thing will come back. The same goes with the sound. If I want to sound like Amitabh Bachchan, hello, namaskar, how are you? I can stay for like 10 minutes, and after that, slowly my throat will start paining, and I'll come back to my original voice. So it
right.
same goes with the sound. If I'm trying to create something, I'm going to tire. I'm going to get tired because
Mm,
it's required a lot of your breath, a lot of your, and to bring ego, it takes a lot of energy. So why are you wasting any energy to do it, which is unnatural? Just be rooted. Who cares nowadays? If you're carrying your ego, it doesn't going to work for the music for sure.
mm,
For music, Indian classical music and improvisation music, not going to work. If you're playing the written music for we have done for 100 times, you know that it's going to still, still it will not happen. Because your half brain is thinking about how to keep this ego impact while performing. Doesn't
mm,
go. According, I may be wrong, but because I'm not that kind, I teach them. Boy, they ask me, how are you so calm? And because see, your calmness I have learned from Hariji. I've never seen him very angry or fighting with somebody, because he knows that if I'm doing this, it's going to affect my evening concert, because that is
sure.
going to stay with me.
Mm, mm,
So why to do it if it's when it's not required? And one doesn't need to do it. Just get away from the scenario which is not of your kind of, and you're not liking it. Just take a back seat and
beautiful. I'd like to talk about the main topic of interest, your wonderful set that is going to happen at the NMACC at the Grand Theatre on the 7th of Feb. So, could you take me through the people who are going to be performing along with you, and what are you going to present for the people of India?
well, if you want me to disclose what I'm going to do, there are composed pieces,
Okay.
especially designed for symphony, where the parts have been composed and everything is done very nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to happen for the first time in India.
Super.
And what can be better to perform in NMSCC Grand Theatre, amazing theatre. It's a dream for the people who are coming. Sorry, on drums we have Gino Banks.
Wow.
On keys we have Sangeet Haldipur.
Mm-hmm.
On tabla, we have Satyajit Talwarkar, and Damon will be the conductor from Cape Town.
Okay.
Uh, they're all amazing. The three songs have been composed by Sangeet Haldipur.
Okay.
Arrangements, the songs is mine, but the arrangement, which is a difficult task to write for
Mm.
35 people, piece of orchestra. And the three songs, one of the flautist from Italy, he
Mm.
has arranged it. I had a one workshop there, and he was there in my workshop, and somebody introduced that he is also a symphony writer, and he writes and he plays. So I was just playing the piece, and I said, "What can be done?" He said, "Just send it to me. I'll try my best to do it." And then he did the arrangement and said, "So it's a nice package of that evening for the 7th of Feb.
Yeah.
I was planning to be rooted in the beginning, do maybe a small set of classical music, just me in tabla and tanpura.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll have a break. Then we'll start our symphony pieces. And then in between, a glimpse of Bollywood also, because a lot of people like that kind of music. And a lot of people think that how this music can come between the symphony and classical. But I have done this for 4 decades, and I love the Bollywood thing because I've learned a lot from all the legend music directors,
Okay.
how to be precise, what to do, what not to do. That in the music that I've learned now, that what not to do is also very important.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nice, great entertainment for all kind of people and all age groups. So my request is to all music listeners and non-music listeners also. You can also enjoy the environment,
Right.
the chemistry happening on stage. To come and be witness for this concert, and let me know what you like and what you don't like it. So it's a learning process again for me, what to do and what not to do.
Great, great, sir. Great. We are really looking forward to this wonderful event that's coming up. On that note, one last question for today to wind up our interview. Down in the distant horizon, what would you like to be remembered as, Rakeshji?
Uh, a good flautist, humble flautist, and a good human being.
That's amazing. That's such a wonderful answer for a closure. Thank you so much once again. It's been such an incredible
Thank
blessing,
you.
honor, and a privilege, sir.
Please, please, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.